What inspired you to become firefighters? Who or what inspired you to become firefighters? Good.
30 years service, retire early. Not a problem. Not for a job. Aye, yeah.
And has it come up to all you expected?
Can't retire yet.
Lovely.
A lot of variety. That's what's good about the job. Anything else was something different. It's quite 2 days and 2 nights now, I feel.
How do you feel about that system of working?
Shift work.
The shift work, yeah.
It's actually a good shift. Don't mind it. Do a bit of this. Not really enjoy it.
Even though it's 14 hours?
Again, it comes out, it's a quick shift. It's still kept busy during the day, isn't it? It's still quite busy. You know, if you don't get done there.
Yeah, to dismiss the myth that you all sit here and play cards, etc. between shifts, I mean, you do a lot of exercises throughout the day.
Well, there's not routines which I lead out every day, every shift, there's 7 days a week, so it's not a case of come in just to choose or play cards or whatever. Things are already there, things are already routine. It's sort of play that on the day to make sure things are done. At the end of the day, if you don't maintain the equipment you have, then you end up being a danger to yourself and your problem. I always think they're already there.
Now,
So outside the appliances always got to carry them. All that stuff that we looked at every day or every week, all that stuff, just stuff like that. Things are good. Really good for the job.
how important is teamwork to you all?
Very important. We've got a big job like that.
But rely on your mates, they're relying on you, so you decide what it's like.
Is that a job that they take to have them, they expect people to do certain tasks, soon after they just go and do them, not just for the
You're just assuming that the guy behind you is doing his job.
expect them to do them, or the guy out in the streets going to do his job, the guy driving doing his job. So that's all I see.
Now, you obviously enjoy a tremendous camaraderie between you all. Does that go throughout every watch?
So this watch is, the way watch it, this team watch is absolutely brilliant. The guys are, we all each other everywhere. There's no renegade things or leave this. People are away and do cars themselves or do this and that. And then we do it together quite often. With usually get together the way you do it. So we enjoy it for that company. I think the new boys are just going to the shift. Totally things out quite quickly.
Do you have pet names?
A lot of it.
Tell me some.
Well, we mentioned a few, you take it out.
On you go then. Try me. I've been with you for 2 days, see if I can do it.
No, they don't yet. No, we've all got ways for each other.
Best left unsaid. What do you do with your spare time? I mean, how do you unwind away from the service? No.
Looks very quiet,
More than likely.
Have you any little funny anecdotes you can tell us?
Well, no, we've not the thing to do with issues that runs up.
Now obviously this job has a more serious side to it. Do you support each other in situations like that? Well, obviously where there's fatalities and things like that, certain people react different ways, so do you support each other in the unwinding from one of these situations? Or is the person left to sort of pick herself up and get on with it?
I have somebody speaking about a fatality then we'll talk about it over and just sort of trying to get into the perspective. But then that part in the beginning of the case when you get so
Do you play practical jokes on each other? Particularly on those two new ones? Are they you the two new ones? How many years service is sitting in this room? How many years have you been in it, Dennis? 19 years. And what's the least? 18 months. And do people normally take this job on for life? Mm-hmm. So the turnover of staff isn't great at all?
I think years ago it used to be great on that now because the wages were all that week and nobody was strike. Since then the wage levels have been such that we should have been able to time as well for hanging on for, this is your time.
What age do you retire at anyway? Is that...
For guys at the station level, I think looks like the G was left going to like 60.
Is that irrespective of the service you've served?
You can retire at 50 years.
You can...
You can retire at 50 if you've done 50 years. You can't retire before 50. That's the unless you can retire. But 55 is not.
How would you like to see the service going? You know, in the future, what would you like to see? If they came to you and said...
I'd like to see more younger people joining the fire brigade. Rather than have people at 25, 28 joining the fire brigade.
What's the youngest you can actually join it at? 18?
I tend to think more people are like more in their middle 20s.
Is there any particular reason for that?
I just feel it's hard to support the service and you join when you're young enough. Probably the better for you longer. You were exaggerating when I was 20. Nowadays I see guys that are 28, 29 joining the family. Please God.
What's the maximum age you can join? 30. So after that, yeah. Over the hill.
Usually like 25 years.
So you wouldn't reach your 30-year period?
It's just the fact that when you join and you see somebody else that joined after you, they're out before you. You look and you say, well, that's... It's an old man job.
You think so?
You join, yeah. Unless you're in 25, it's too old.
What do you think about women in your ranks? Yeah, but what would you think if a female firefighter was put in among you? How would... It doesn't appeal to you? Do you all feel the same?
I think we've been liability. We've got liability in most cases. I think that he's an exceptional person, exceptional vulnerability to this job. Be able to do what's required, when required. I think the run of the mill woman, to put it that way, is also quite an exception.
But you...
We had it that way for road fire recently. I couldn't honestly see a woman, I said exceptional. talking the other one about before and after. Quality is not, I don't think it really was, and it's really, you used to, it's just one of these things you've got to go with it. I don't think that's it.
You don't? Emotionally, you mean? Now, you've all got 6 senses of humour. Is that deliberate? Because of the job? He's going to say, have I? Have you designed?
That's one of the questions in the interview. If you've not got a sixth sense of humour, they just go away. You need to have that thick skin.
You know, I mean, someone in the public hearing some of your jokes would think, good Lord, you know, but obviously it's done for a reason. There's a point behind it, if you like.
What's happened? That's maybe a way of dealing with what's happened. It's making
It's a humour joke, I think. Where would you like to see the fire service go?
Getting less cutbacks. Everywhere's cut back. Throughout Britain, not just here, everywhere. Nah, the job of the fire service shouldn't have to cut back. People like it's not a risk, and they talk about penny pensions, they say, it's like our service shouldn't cut back. Anyway, should we let it already run and we're not having a scam for trying to see what we say to the wives and talk to them. That's what we do.
So you hope the fire service stays a service.
So you would all disagree with privatisation of it? You wouldn't like to see it in the private sector? For what reason?
So the truth, I think it's the only true business service is the private. You can qualify because you'd be guaranteed to run appliance and buy vending and those set within 3 or 4 minutes in most parts of the country. You couldn't say that for the police or the ambulance. The fire service is organised as such. Your response, the way you respond, that's the way it should be kept. If there's any cutbacks, then I think we'd be lucky maybe in Scotland. We'd probably get the best, we have the best management in all of it. But nonetheless, there's men in the back of the motor as crowd. If we start cutting back on that, then the service loses the best part of its response.
So you feel strongly about any government cutbacks on the service?
Well, we're very fortunate to be best managed figures and we're well supported. Especially the station of Greenock, where we've got 2 pumps. Special clients, we've got 20 men around you. Keep back up. In other areas where there's lots less pumps, it's crucial you get the full amount of men sitting back in the motor.
Right, thank you all for speaking to me. Thank you.
You're back, don't let her get it. Everybody go out and talk about it.
Hide behind Spider-Man's tummy up. Right, Richard. I'll go and watch this miss. Blue Watch, first appliance, officer in charge, station officer Boswell. BA leading firefighter May. Driver firefighter Webb. BA firefighter Wishart. Last man firefighter McCallum. Second appliance officer in charge myself. BA firefighter Forsyth. Driver firefighter McGeorge. BA firefighter Lippett. Last man firefighter McNellis. Hydraulic platform, officer in charge, leading firefighter Carson. Firefighter Watson. Station duty firefighter Wishart. Canteen firefighter Watson. Go present correct, sir.
Thanks, Tom. One thing to pass on, station duty man, make sure all the vans are locked up in the garage. That's all, gents. All out check plans to be.
Enough shot.
I'm talking with Sub-Officer Archie Bolton, who runs the detained service at Greenock Fire Station. Archie, how long have you been a detained officer?
Well, I've been in the fire station for 27 years. I've been a retained officer for the last 5 years at Greenock.
And have you any ambition to be a firefighter?
No, I'm too old for that now. I should have done it years ago, but I'm over the hill now for that.
And what are your responsibilities?
I train and run the unit at the fire station. Responsible for the training and for the safety of the men when we go to fires. Take on the responsibility as the officer in charge at a fire. Basically the same as a full-time fireman would do.
And in what situation are you called out? I mean, did you actually go to a fire?
Yes, we're in call with a pager, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks of the year. And if the 3 pumps are required at a fire, there's certain fires where it's predetermined turnouts. And in that case, there are a number of pumps allocated to the risk area, and we would be the 3rd pump. If it wasn't a situation like that in a normal fire, and the whole-time brigade was at a fire and another fire came in, we would attend to that, so we could be whole and solely the firefighting unit at that fire. So we took on the role as the whole-time would do.
Now, can I open it up a bit? You're obviously a leading firefighter. What has made you come? And what background do you come from?
What made me join the service? I was interested in the fire service before I joined, seeing the engines going out and wondered where they were going, liked to be a part of it. I applied, got a form, applied, went an interview and was successful in getting in.
What do you do as a job?
I'm a van driver with a Greenock Telegraph.
I've got a lot of job satisfaction. I think it's a really worthwhile thing to do for the community. I'm actually a full-time student at James Watt College.
What criteria do you think makes a good firefighter? That's open to anyone. Sorry?
Somebody that can be calm all the time, doesn't lose any control.
And is the training stringent? Is it exactly the same as your normal?
It's exactly the same as the whole time. We do have a training programme, and our training programme's the exact same as a whole-time fire brigade training programme. Although we don't have the same amount of time, we manage to crush it in, and we do just exactly the same as a whole-time.
And how often do you actually train in exercises?
Every Thursday. During the summer period we train for 3 hours on a Thursday, and the winter period we do 2 hours on a Thursday, every Thursday. We have exercises throughout the area. We train along with the full-time or the whole-time firemen, and we train with other retained units, combined drills they call it. We've just completed an exercise there with one of the ships, and that involved police, helicopters, doctors, and that was quite a good exercise because we all got to see everybody's part in a situation. Should a disaster of that type happen.
Do any of you want to become full-time firefighters? Anyone got visions towards that?
Yeah, well, I've applied a few times for full time, but the process of getting in full time is quite difficult. So I was interested in retained as well, but my ambition is maybe to step up full time. But in saying that, if I don't manage to go full time, then I will be happy to stay retained or whatever.
Tonight we're going to have a lecture on the new plaque resuscitator as used by Strathclyde Fire Brigade. As firefighters, these are often called upon to render first aid, whether it be to casualties involved in road traffic accidents or casualties involved with after effects of a fire, smoke inhalation or more. Sometimes when you don't have this piece of equipment here, if you've tried, I know you're all trained in first aid, you've tried to render mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on a casualty, it's a very, very tiresome thing to carry out over a long period of time. To help us in this, we have the new plaque resuscitator, which is, in fact, a manual ventilator. Right? It doesn't make people breathe, it's not a magic box, you don't put it on folk and they breathe. It's a mechanical ventilator. You've still got to get that casualty starting to breathe. Okay? This resuscitator is widely accepted throughout the world. Ambulance people use that to carry them on an appliance. The Ministry of Defence actually used this with the troops, so it must be half decent. It's small, lightweight, easy to carry. There's a knapsack inside, you can put it on a shoulder, go up and down ladders, through tunnels, whatever, so it's very versatile. But before we get on to talking about it, there's very important things to be considered when we're dealing with a casualty. Anybody who we're going to use the new plaque on, first and foremost, we've got to look after ourselves. In the modern day society, we've got a lot of diseases that are going about, hepatitis, AIDS, things of that nature, where you may come into contact with body fluids or blood or what have you. Okay, so it's very important that the first thing any of you do is put on a pair of 3-touch surgical gloves to protect you from handling the casualty. How many of you actually carry a pair in your tunic? Right. You look behind you, all the old-time guys carry a pair. We have a box in them down the stair. I know we carry them on the appliance in the first aid box. But my tip to you personally is get yourself an individual pair, keep them in the tunic, because by the time you get back to the appliance to where you went to see the accident victim or what have you, often it's too late and often you get to work without putting the gloves on at all. So take a pair, keep them in your tunic, and then you'll be able to put them on as you need them right away. Okay? Usually we don't have this at hand. They're on your appliances, a couple of minutes delay before you get it there or whatever. The casualty might be trapped in situ. You're unable to get them out. You're waiting for this to come in. What are you going to do before you wait for this? You've got a casualty there, they're no breathing. What are you going to do? You're going to stand there waiting for this. Check for a pulse. Check for a pulse and what? Breathing. Breathing for them if you have to. You're going to have to carry out mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Okay? If you're by yourself, can anybody tell me what the ratio is if you're doing mouth-to-mouth and cardiac massage?
52
for one person and 5 to 1 for 2 people. Right. We're going to have somebody down here. We're going to demonstrate first and foremost the resuscitation position. Don't get mixed up between that and the recovery position, which is what you turn the casualty into once he has commenced bleeding and is comfortable. Basically, the resuscitation position is flat on their back, where you can open the airway and start to get to work. Right. Does anybody get an idea what this is up here? Rib cage. Rib cage. Right. I know I'm not a best at drawers, but this is meant to simulate the breastbone. Right. You put your finger up in here. You'll find a wee notch. Everybody want to try and look for that? That's what we call the sternal notch, right? And at the bottom, if you're not as fat as me, you can find the bone in there. where it terminates at the bottom of your rib cage, right? So that's the sternum, that's meant to be the ribs, and underneath that, contrary to what everybody thinks, the heart is on the other side. It's right there in the middle, beneath the sternum or the breastbone, okay? And for us to find that heart, right, we do it in such a fashion, we get a finger into the sternum notch, the other one in there, thumbs meet in the middle, and where that finger goes is the heart underneath it, and that's where you will commence your cardiac massage. So could I have a volunteer, thank you very much, you just like to lie down there, flat on your back. And you can take your tie off, please. I know the top is button your shirt. Right. First and foremost, for casualty handling, right? We've got this chap with a fire, he's been fumed and smoke and whatever, he's loaded with the car, he's got the call. He's a bad day, this man. First and foremost, we're going to talk about casualty handling and what we're going to look for. Your position is vitally important. You want to be up in line with your shoulder and head so that you can work there. You want to be on your knees, right? So that when you're going to give cardiac massage, you're in a position for a rocking position back and forward, okay? So it's important to get there. And if there's two of you working at them, you'll have somebody on the other side, at that side. And two working, one at the mouth and one carrying out the cardiac massage, okay? So how do we do it? We're looking for a sternum notch in there. You've got to poke in a wee bit, find it, put them on you. Look for a rib cage, thumbs in the middle, and where that finger there rests, right on the bundle of his shirt, is where his heart is directly below. You'll then put the heel of your hand, you'll cross over the other hand to get more pressure on the top, and you don't bend your elbows to keep your arms locked. Right? And it's a rocking movement. You would start to commence it. It's very important you don't actually physically do it with a person who has a heart beating. Because if you start doing this, you may well kill them. So it's vitally important, the first thing you do is take a pulse. Right? Pulse is where we're going to take a pulse. It's carotid pulse or radial pulse. Right? Carotid pulse is more accurate. As soon as we've got the casualty, first thing we do, we're in this position, we open his airway, right? We check for obstructions, false teeth, a lot, mucus if he's been sick. We've got our gloves on, right? So we can hook out any obstructions. 9 times out of 10, a casualty who's been starved of oxygen in a fire, if you take him out and open his airway, he will start breathing for himself because he's desperate to get air, right? You open the airway, hopefully he'll start breathing. While that's happening, you're taking a pulse, okay? Excuse my cold fingers. Taking a pulse, right? We've got a pulse. If you've got the heart beating there, you forget about this cardiac massage. Because if you go in there, you're going to maybe stop the heart. You could kill a man. So make sure that even if it's a weak pulse, you take your time to locate the pulse. If there's no pulse and he's no breathing, you've got to do both cardiac massage and mouth to mouth. If he starts beating, you forget about the cardiac, right? So let's presume we've found a pulse, this guy's okay. Then, as a first aider myself, I will give him mouth to mouth, and I'll breathe at the rate I'm breathing for myself, right? It comes out, average in adults, 12 to 15 breaths in a minute. Children have a rapid rate of breathing, goes up to 20, 25, maybe 30 times a minute. Small, shallow breath, right? We'll go back to this cardiac, but we'll just talk about, we've opened the airway, we've got a pulse, so he's not breathing, mouth to mouth. We pinch the nose, thumb over the chin, and we cover his mouth with your own, or if there's been damage to the mouth, you cover it up, you can breathe through his nose, right? First thing we do, what do we carry on the machines for our own protection, for mouth to mouth? Resuscitate, which is a small plastic square with a one-way valve in it that you place over the face, into the mouth, and you can breathe through it. The other thing we carry in, we have shed box.
Lateral face mask.
Lateral face mask. You can put that in right? We've got one in the new pack I'll show you later. Put it in, one-way valve in it, and breathe through it onto the casualty, right? So right away, this guy's going to starve the oxygen, so what we want to do, we want to get some air into his lungs. So we want to give him 2 or 3 rapid breaths to get the lungs expanded, and hopefully to start him breathing, because he's used up all the reservoir of air he had in his lungs. When you breathe, when you're sitting quietly, you use a small amount of air and you've got a tidal reserve inside your lungs. When you start running, walking, doing exercise, you use more. You use more of that reserve, so you've got to breathe harder to get it back in again. Right?
I was quite happy with the way that everything went. A lot of effort put in. The procedures were volunteer to. But there was a couple of wee points, nothing detrimental, but something that you might want to pick up for your own benefit. Right? When we're wearing gas suits, as you know, the duration of the septic's half. Right? And if we have a situation where we have to have a wash down procedure, that might have an effect on the fellas in the gas suits. They've been inside, they've been working hard, okay? They're using up the air. Well, while they're getting their wash down, they're still using their air. So what I'm saying is that it would be worthwhile thinking about maybe getting a spare set in case these guys have to get extra air. Okay? The other thing for the benefit of the men and women in the female storage place was the fact that the reason you were in the is obviously because of the nest of the we have to think then of the casualty because he's not got to right? The first time we went in was a snatch rescue, we went in and it was a case of getting the casualty right? When they went back in, we had a bit of work to free him from preserving his air, if you like. And it's always something to bear in mind if you're wearing gas suits in a situation like that. It always takes in mind. Because the casualty has been players, any questions extra I can pick up.
Okay, sir. Okay, 2, follow it.
gate going, isn't it? No, 7-1, 7-2, 7-5.
Charlie Victor 7 to M2GX, over.
Oscar 012, your signal loud and clear. How do you read hours, over? 012, GX, loud and clear, also. Oscar 012, over. Roger, GX out.
I'm Patricia Allen. I'm a Senior Fire Control Operator with Strathclyde Fire Brigade, a member of the control staff. Part of the duties of the control staff is to man the control unit, which is mobilised to 5 pump fires or on request from the fire ground. And the main function of the control unit is to set up a command to liaise between the main control room and the fire ground. Any requests required from the fire ground, whether it's special equipment, further assistance or any of the public services, all goes via the control unit to the control room. Some of the equipment we use on the vehicle, this is the radio, which all messages are passed back from the fire ground to the control room, and these messages are usually passed from the officer via a handheld radio, which the control unit carries 6 of, plus spare batteries. Most fire appliances carry them, and most senior officers have their own. If they arrive on the fire ground, they don't have a radio, they can get one from the control unit. This control panel here is the various channels for the fire ground radios. Have a radio telephone if we're on the fire ground and we have any problems with communications. Radio telephone can be used, or if there's any confidential information to be passed back from the fire ground to the control room, can be passed via radio telephone, or in fact we carry various lists of telephone numbers. On the wall here we have a board which, this section, your senior officers, when we arrive at an incident, the names are listed. Public services, it could be the electricity board, the gas board, water, listed there. Types of appliances, the number of appliances that are attending, how many, we then have a total number of firefighters also. This section here, the address of the incident, officer in charge, the time. This information we would get from messages which are passed. They may have been passed earlier, or else whenever we arrive we're given a message to pass. Information is put on the board as much as we get. We can then slide it through to the back section of the vehicle, which I will cover later. I'll deal mainly with this section just now. Also on the vehicle we carry surcoats. When this vehicle's turned out, it's also a senior officer is mobilised and a support crew. Normally the support crew will be in attendance when we arrive at the incident. One of the first things we do when we get there is support crew are issued with surcoats, and the officer in charge of the incident is issued with a surcoat. He's then the fire commander, so anyone looking for the officer in charge is easily recognisable. We also carry on the control unit tally boards. These are on every operational appliance. Every firefighter has a tally which is put on the tally board, and the support crew, whenever they get in attendance, their first duty is to collect all the tally boards, bring them to, whenever we arrive here, they give them to us. It's then we have a note of who exactly is on the fire ground, how many, are there. If there had to be an evacuation of any of the buildings, we know exactly if there's anyone missing, who it is that's missing. Also in the control unit, we carry various plans, emergency plans for premises, ordnance surveys for the whole of Strathclyde. This vehicle can travel anywhere within Strathclyde. Whenever we're at the station, we get a turnout. We don't know where we're going till we get the printer. It could be anywhere at all within the Strathclyde area. Carry plans of all the divisions, emergency plans, plans of the underground in Glasgow. All the appliances in Glasgow carry them as well. The rear section of the control unit is mainly for the use of officers and the support unit, the control unit support crew. This map here, someone it could be a member of the support unit crew or the headquarters officer who is mobilised with the control unit. He could be responsible for drawing a plan of the fire ground, the fire situation, and he would use this board to draw the plan and show exactly where the pumps are sited at the on the fire ground. Any drawing materials, any stationery that's required is carried in the back section in the various drawers. Also in the back section we have aerials for masts, which if we're in an area where it's poor radio reception or even for the radio telephone, we have an extending mast which extends to 40 feet if necessary, and we attach aerials to that and hopefully get through on the radio then. Also when we arrive at an incident, as the officer in charge, come into the control unit, set up the radios. The driver is responsible for parking. Once we find a site where the control unit is to be sited, the driver parks the vehicle, gets out, sets up the generator which gives the vehicle all the power it requires, all the power it requires for the fire ground, which keeps there's a charger for charging batteries. If the control unit can be turned out to an incident and can be there for several hours, several days, has been in the past, and it's then manned by various relief crews from the control. Whenever I'm manning the control unit, we're actually based at Johnston Fire Station. We're on the run with a crew. There is a full-time crew at Johnston Fire Station plus a retained crew. The control unit crew are responsible for cleaning the appliance and doing the normal routine maintenance on it, checking all the equipment is in good working order, and once having gone to an incident, on return from an incident, doing a check to make sure that all the equipment is back on the vehicle. We also man the standby control whilst we're on control unit duties, which is we check all the equipment in the standby control, just make sure it's in running order and check officer availability boards. In the driver's cab of the control unit, we have, as in every operational vehicle in the brigade, a vehicle encoder unit, which is known as a button box. We have a radio, which is just an extension of the one that we have in the back of the control unit. We have a radio telephone, which is also another extension, and blue lights, which we use mobile to an incident, and red and white lights, which are left on when we're in attendance at an incident and identifies the control unit. We also have various sirens, and we have a PA control if it was required for evacuating buildings. It can be there are speakers on the roof of the vehicle. Foxtrot Victory out. Hello, fire brigade. Sorry? Oh shoot, Victor 6. Yeah. Okay then. Yeah, let's do it. What? Get all the action. Report. What address? What? Yes. Sorry, comment? What? Murano Street. Firearms. It's Glasgow University, Murano Street, Glasgow, and it's a common facility centre. Fire brigade will attend. Blue watch. Aye. Lock is broken. Fire brigade. Right, now the fire brigade won't attend to lock it, tenants unless there is to fire. Hello. Hello. Just hold on a wee second. What street, sorry? What's the hello? The street, Mackinfall Road. Hello. Which town is that? Hello. Full crossing Glasgow. Hello, caller. Hello, can you hear me? Can you give me his name, please? Rightway Street. Yes. Right, what is it that's on fire? Right, now you've seen Mackinfall. Hello. Spell that for me, please. Hello.
No way. No way, I'm not answering my else's name. I don't care what you call me.
Somebody's going to make the Ellis.
Just change McNeil's name for mine. Oh, here we have it.
Blue eyes, son. That's your names. First appliance. Officer Chastise, Officer Boswell. Driver, Firefighter Webb. BA, Lead Firefighter Devaney, myself. BA, Firefighter Wishart. Baco, Firefighter McCallum. Second appliance, Officer in charge, Sub Officer McNabb. Driver, Firefighter McGeorge. BA, Firefighter McNellis. BA, Firefighter Leppy. Baco, Firefighter Forsyth. HP, Officer in charge, Leading Firefighter Carson. Driver, Firefighter Watson. Station duty, Firefighter Wishart. Canteen, Firefighter Watson. Correct, sir.
Very good. Through to Sundays. Morning gents, just a couple of points to pass on. The frosty weather just now. Drivers take extra care and caution on the roads. Also when using the backyard, the jog ground, etc. It has been salted, but again, personnel take extra care. That's all. Paul out, check the appliances and beer.
This is what is known as a rescue line. It's used for lowering people from elevated positions. It's got two legs. It runs round the chest, one round the knees, puts them in a sitting position, keeps them as comfortable as possible. This one next to it is known as a GP line. It's used just for tying up, suction, pulling hose aloft, just general purpose. This is a BA guideline, 60 metres in length. If you're having a deep penetration into a building that you're not sure might be long, drawn out, you attach this outside with a tally, and personal lines on the BA sets, I'll show you later, they clip on, and you're always known, you can't get lost. This is another wee point on it. There's two sets of tags, a long one and a short one. The short one is knotted. In the fire brigade way I remember it is get out, get knotted. If you come across this one first, you're going into a building. If you come across it last, when you're feeling the touch, you're heading out. That's the easiest way of remembering it. This is just another line, a general purpose line carried in a bag for easing the falling aloft, things again. We carry two foam extinguishers, new Alka-Seal foam. It's only been in the brigade 6 months now. We have a stand here for the BA entry control board. Moving down to the bottom of the locker, we have TCF extinguishers, which at the turn of the year will be extinct. They're working on a replacement. The BCF is just too expensive to use. This is called a featherweight pump. Whoever this is, I don't know why it takes 4 men to lift it. That is used for long distance where you can't get the main appliance to a water supply. That will pump water quite easily. No problem to these main appliances, which will then pump out the jets, or you can use it to spray. One at a key side, into the floor. Use the suction, lower it into a key side, and it just takes one man to look after it, rather than tie up a full appliance. It comes with its own petrol can to keep it filled, and its own collecting head. It's a self-contained pump, can be used anywhere. That basically covers the front rear side locker. Move on to the second locker. There we keep the lengths of hose. There's 7 lengths on either side of the appliance of 70mm hose and 1 length of 45, known as a domestic. That's the one you take into a house with you. We carry our own salvage sheets as well. Every time you go into a building, you're always thinking salvage. What can you save? Every wee bit helps if you save someone's property. This is a debris bag. It likes the high flats if you get a fire in any tenement. Rather than just drag stuff out through all the tenements and flats, they put it into a bag, saves dirtying the place up. You see, every wee bit helps if you can tidy it up. That way. Moving on to the heel locker. Starting at the top, we have a 5X foam branch. It is used in conjunction with a pickup tube, which is secured in there. It's for all your petrol fires, anything you use foam on. The rubber ring on it is for high flats, inlets. You put it in and that is secured into an inlet if you need foam inside a high flat. We carry a various selection of breechings, things, control device breechings that will split it. One hose into 2 saves a lot of run out of hose, long distances, large fires and things. That's basically what's in their device breechings, collecting breechings. have standpipes and key and bar, which we use to obtain water from the fire hydrants on the street. This adapter here is used for converting our domestic or 70mm hose to hose reel. Again, it's lighter, easier to handle, more control over it. You have a flake length here, turn up a fire and it's going well. The first thing you would do is you would go for this. You open the back locker around the side here, you slide that up, pull the branch and go, and it will flake out as and when you get rather man run out of hose, you've got it there. This is our chimney bucket. It's got all the bits and pieces you need to turn up at a chimney fire. First thing you would do, put the salvage seat down, protect all the functions and fixtures, then attack the chimney fire, take all the rubbish away in the bucket, again leave it all clean. And hose reel drums, there's one on either side of every appliance. It's 60 feet in length, anti-cool branch. Usually this is the first line of attack in small fires, car fires, anything like that. You've got the water there, immediately, it's just a matter of pumping the branch on, you've got it. Again, it's more easier to handle and use. That completes the rear side locker. This is the actual pump that delivers the water. Further takeoff is engaged by the driver before he leaves the cab, comes round here and you can operate the pump from the back here. You've got all your gauges that tells you exactly what's going on. Your priming speed, you set your throttle via this lever here, it tells you 2,300. And you can prime it. If you're working from open water, you need to prime it. That allows atmospheric pressure to push the water up. That extracts the air out of the pump and you've got water there. You 3 deliveries to each pump, collecting head or working from a hydrant, plug it straight in there, and you've got a tank fill. That is used once you're finished on the fire. Fill up the tank before you proceed to the next fire. You've always got to have water. This part here is called the round the pump proportioner. It is a new thing that's just been incorporated on the appliance. It's for reducing foam at the pump. What you do is you find out what type of fire it is, to whatever percentage of foam you've got. You connect up a pickup tube which goes into either a dam full of foam or foam drums. You open the levers and you'll get produced foam once you've set the right drums mixtures. In the back locker we have low level strainers that are pumping out a basement, takes it right down to half an inch deep of water left. We have a basket strainer which attaches to the end of the suction, and we have hose ramps, obviously the self-explanatory hose ramps. Now the suction carry 4 lengths of hard suction, as these things here. On the end you would fit the basket strainer before you put it into any water, stops any dirt, debris coming into the pump, locking it up. So you would use as many lengths as required, but the maximum you can use is 4. That's the maximum lift you can get. We carry 4 ladders on the appliance. It's called a hatch ladder, a roof ladder, a 13.5 metre extension ladder, and a 10.5 metre extension ladder. The main ladder here is used most often. It will reach the 3rd floor of a flat, no problem. If you had to, it would reach the sill of a 4th floor. The small ladder over the end here would only reach the 2nd floor. So you tend, this has got more stability, more control over it, you would tend to use this more often. Again, say we carry hose reel drums on either side, we carry standpipes on either side, and we have shovels. obviously for clearing up the debris after it. We also have a flake length on this side as well. Allows 2 flake lengths to go out at the same time or whatever. The driver usually stores his gear in here. Moving on to the centre locker again. Exactly the same. We carry 7 lengths of 70mm hose, 1 length of 45mm hose. Again, in the 2 bags here, what we do is gas suits. What they're used for is gas type environments, any toxic environment, anything like that. A gas suit, put on a breathing apparatus set, you're totally enclosed, you're self-contained, there's no toxic gases get to. I would show it, but they're sealed up. The only time we open them is if you use them. Once you've used them, they're sent away, checked out, and you get replacements back. I carry 2 of them. Moved on to the front offside. Start. We carry 2 chemical anti-splash suits. Just treated, if it's only chemical incidents, you don't want any contaminants on you, you would then go to a chemical anti-splash suit, breathing apparatus, and you can then work with chemicals. There is certain chemicals will attack the rubber, but here at the technical support unit, we know exactly what ones to avoid, basically. Once you've had them on, again, you get it washed down, hung up to dry, replace the motor again. After every time they're used, they've always got to be tested. Working down, we have a resuscitator ventilator. Again, take that with us at any time for entering a building if there is persons reported or suspected within the building. What it does, it can help them breathe via oxygen therapy, or we can use it to make them breathe. Between heart compressions, we can go on the resuscitator and it will give them pulses, whether it be adult, children, because there's settings on it for both. We can use that at all times. We always carry a spare oxygen cylinder. You never know when that one will run out. We have a very small first aid kit. Usually if there's people involved in fire, an accident, whatever, we'll all request an ambulance. And we can deal with an initial first aid, but that is it. Again, this is just another chemical splash suit. And in one of the boxes, we carry what's called dosimeters. And it's radiation reading. You suspect radiation is involved. You would start off, you would put on the gas suit, your breathing apparatus. You would then put the quality control officer who deals with all your in and outs of fires would take a reading from that, note it down, you would then proceed in. You've got limited duration with radiation. You would come back out, take a reading again, and that allows Strathclyde Fire Brigade to know what kind of dose rate you've received. You carry 5 of them in case the 5 riders on your planes are subject to a dose rate. Underneath this, we have electrical gauntlets. Self-explanatory, they're used for electrical work. If somebody's been trapped in a transformer station, you would put them on, make sure the power's isolated, make sure the static has been grounded. You still wear the gloves. You carry 2 pairs of them. You always work in 2s with that kind of stuff. Moving down to this shelf is what's called the small gear. This is all the breaking in tools, the door opening things like that.
For instance, one of the most used equipment is a large axe. Used for lifting floorboards, you can use it for prying open doors. Basically, one of the most used tools. It's a very good tool to have. There's all sorts of equipment, well, bolt cutters, padlock openers. There's virtually nothing the fire service would be able to get into. Moving down to the drawers on the appliance. This is the Lucas cutting gear for road traffic accidents, things like that. It is connected up via the hydraulic tubes to a small portable generator which is carried underneath it there. It has cutting facilities and spreading facilities on the one machine. Like I said, if you turn up, someone's got a head stuck through railings, you would get that out, spread the railings. Minimum of fuss, and they're away. We also carry chains. What we can do is we can pull with this piece of equipment. Connect up two chains and pull things together. Again, very seldom used. We don't get a lot of road traffic accidents in here, thankfully. In this one, we have the extension tubes for the above piece of equipment, and in the event of a failure of the hydraulic pump, we have a hand pump which you would just pump away. The machine will still work, whether it be hand pump or hydraulic pumps. And that is basically the Lucas cutting gear. See, that is a small generator that runs the Lucas cutting gear. And we have road traffic lamps. Whenever a hose crosses roads, any obstructions where we are working, you would set them off and place them where they can be seen. We've always got to think on our own safety while we are working out in the street. Moving on to the bath boxes. That is called the half toolkit. That is used for chimney fires. Anytime you need a saw, hammer, basically it's small gear. You carry pliers, pipe wrenches, spanners, anything at all. It's mostly used for hearth fires. Pulling out a hearth and you've got to go under the floor to deal with it. The second box, we carry two railway warning horns. When you turn up at an incident involving British Rail or anything on a railway line, you would send people down line and up line with the railway warning horns. You would make sure from British Telecom the line has been isolated and the train stopped. It's just a secondary backup. You would also have a pocket radio. If a train comes, they give it a blast and it's loud. We carry 5 hand axes, again used for working on roofs, anything like that, chopping up, using lifting floorboards, anything at all, where it come in handy. And this is a hose becket. If you're using hose working aloft, to save the strain on the couplings in the hose, you put that round the hose, clip it through and hook it over the ladder, making sure you have a nice bite that the weight is taken off the couplings and off the hose, prevents any damage, any bursts, avoids unnecessary flooding of places. This piece here is a hose bandage. If you happen to have a hose dragged through a house, factory, anything, and you get a burst, again you don't want to start flooding the place. You put a bandage on it. If it's not practicable to replace the length of hose, stick a bandage on it until such measures as somebody can get in with another length of hose. In number 3, we have asbestos bags. Any asbestos contaminated, anything that's contaminated and requires industrial cleaning, incineration, anything,
We go in a water-soluble bag first. It will never come out of that. It then goes into the red bags and the white bags, which are all marked, contaminated, waste, whatever. Recently, we've been issued with sharp safe containers. We've had a few incidents turned up. There's been syringes lying there. Again, they go into sharp safes. Your gloves or whatever go into the cleaning bags and sent for specialised cleaning. We carry 2 spare ECF extinguisher refills. Again, once you've used the extinguisher, you replace it right away, and that's it, ready to go. Send the refill away for recharging. The last drawer, what's have size safes. That is for fire ground maintenance of a breathing apparatus set. You go in, you come out, you replace the cylinder. What you would do is you would take one of the cloths out, wipe down your mask, clean all as much dirt off it as possible. If you're having to wear it, and go back in again. You have protective goggles, which are used anytime, pulling down seal, anytime you need protection for your eyes. More so with the Lucas cutting gear. The 2 white bags are body bags, self-explanatory. That's the 4 boxes.
okay at restart, sir?
Gonna get the ball forward. Move forward. Right, stand easy, guys. Right, just go through them. 4th floor. Door giving access to municipal buildings, fitted with self-closer. Right, let's have a look at that. No closer fitted. Right, let's check the door, make sure the closer's full. Now, what we'll do is check all the symbols that are here, just in case there's anything been missed, so that we can get it on this drawing now, and when it comes to the certificate, the drawing will be perfect. Okay. So, 4th floor.
You want to do lighting first?
Yeah.
Lighting core points.
We'll just do it all as we get around the building. So, got an illuminated exit sign.
Exit sign, lines outside.
That's PB. Push bar door. Then you turn off the extinguisher. And self-closing notice. Each door's self-closing. Right. That's it.
Right.
Now,
Let's keep your lighting one there.
right, CO2 extinguisher. There. Now let's go and look at the other stair enclosure. Sounder. Sounder's there.
One sounder there. And one sounder there.
One sounder on the other side.
Call point here.
Call point.
And 1.5.
1.5 line. And the fire door keep shut doors on all the doors that are required to be kept shut. Sounder.
Just keep your light.
One. We'll have one on this bit. So all of them. Am I going to be one of you for a cake or a
Yes, this is the before.
Right, see all the doors on this?
Yeah, they're all self-closing.
Yeah, they should all have the noses on the fire door keep shut. Okay, right. Now what else do we have in here? A water and a few Yeah, I should be two in here as well.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Once the self-closer was fitted, all doors with the PB have a push bar sign on them. Right, now this is only the half-hour fire-resistant doors to the stairs.
Fire door letting, right.
All the initial doors have the fire door keep shut notices on them. But the doors, the places where there's only one means to escape, where they've actually got to create a lobby, then all the internal doors should all have the self-closing notices on them. Inspect officers themselves. Number of potential fire ignition sources in the normal use of the building is average. This is all just purely storage only.
Purely storage,
Illuminated exit sign and a water extension. Yeah, there wouldn't be. It's not marked.
No,
it's not.
I think there's one. I can't get in there, but I know there is one in there.
Yeah,
There's not one there.
Nope. There's one. Yeah, it's just this one here.
That's right, that lights up.
Right. Right, that's fine.
Yes.
Let's get the certificate made up and the certificate will be issued in the next stage. Okay. Right.
Good.
Right, be in touch, Andy.
Yes.
Right, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Yes, but overall the VA sets themselves do that wrong. 3 levels of service. Levels 1, 2 and 3. Level 1 is carried out every 6 months, which is only a function test. And if all the functions are within the tolerances, then no adjustments are to be
It's carried out once a year, which means 2 parts within the regulator body, not the regulator itself, but the O-ring that you can maybe see here, and inside there's a filter which takes away any bits of fluff and dirt and all the rest of it. They're renewed every year. And level 3, as I say, I'm doing at the moment, the working parts within the we do these sets on a regular basis because there's always repairs required, different times throughout the year, so we're very familiar with them. It's quite an interesting job. Derek and I have been doing it for, well, for many years. I've been doing it for 10 years with Derek. It's a job that's quite rewarding as much as it's responsible. Better than washing the bays. Alright? Yes. Better than washing the bays, and it's a bit footery at times, but once you're into the body of it, it's quite easy. You need all these wee probes to push out the parts that we've got to renew. Sometimes it can be easier than this one's noted. One bit out. That bit doesn't get renewed, that's the metal washer. What we're interested in is the rubber. So that, we also renew the nylon part along with the wee rubber O-ring. You want to put that on there, Derek? Planned our future servicing from the wear and tear. Push it in. Sit back in. Place the spring. And get back in. Back point with the screw. Right, that's that bit. The other segment. Now, I'll just go through the motions here. I wouldn't do the actual test, so I'll just explain what happens. So, I want to make sure I do it right. Look down with the camera. So this basically is a simulator. It's called a diabator, and it simulates the actions when you're wearing the breathing apparatus set itself. And all these dials and such like you see in front of you there give off certain readings which we have to comply with going by the book. The tolerances must be kept within the range, and all these dials here give us the information that we're looking for in the performance of the set. The first test, we always use the book. We've been trained to do this. It always tells you, it doesn't matter how often you do it, how long you do it, use the book, make sure you get through the correct decisions. It keeps yourself right. If ever come back comes with a set and you've done it by the book, then you really can't go wrong. You shouldn't go wrong. The first test is the regular test. Well, the actual diabator itself should be tested before you use it, but it has already been done before you come in, so we don't need to do it again. The regular unit itself, find the test. Diabator. Press there. Charge up now. First thing you hear is that's the air passing up through into the whistle, back into the diabator. Stops at approximately 75 bar. Cuts off that. What we're looking for is the secondary pressure, which is the breathable pressure, which is reduced in through the regulator to 7.5 bars, and that's the pressure we're looking for. Now, when I depress handle here, we should come and get a reading of roughly 7.5 bars during the time it's depressed. do the order, but it's rising, so higher than it should after it's been tested, so there's obviously something wrong with it, which I don't know yet what's wrong with it. I'll need to. Anyway, that test is carried out. Once we carried out the function tests in the regulator, we'd start on the breathing valve. The breathing valve tests are done in conjunction with the regulator that's used for. They shouldn't be interchanged with any other regulator. They're all numbered, sets, regulators, breathing valves. This is number 155, which set belongs to Paisley. 155 over there. Because 155 should be tipped or engraved on the body of the regulator. Various parts of the set, so they shouldn't be mixed up, and they're not supposed to be interchangeable. So the test for the breathing valve is done in conjunction with the same regulator of the same set. And again, we have tolerances which should be kept within certain ranges, and it's all laid out in the books here for us. So there's no, we shouldn't really go wrong at all, as long as we keep to what the book says. So it's quite an interesting job. It's quite a decent job. I've been doing it for 10 years. Derek been doing it for 2 or 3 years. I don't know what's going to happen once the new command cell comes into being, whether we all keep the VA maintenance act in it or whether we go elsewhere. I hope we'll keep it here because it's worthwhile doing. And it gets us about the original English you see on the stations and do all the maintenance work that's required.
I'll go and let the ambulance know where the lady is. Okay. Is he coming back?
Alright.
Had a look for
her. Okay. She's had a bump. Her leg is very badly bruised and a bit swollen. There could be a wee break under it. We don't want to move it. Okay. Don't go home like that for a bit.
Young fireman, isn't it? When you chat him, tell my tight. Oh, that other lady walks away when I get up to
Right, there's a lady left who was involved with us. She's walked right on down the road. You don't know her. Is she with you? Just crossing at the same time. So we'll ask her. Were you crossing the road?
Tell you what happened. We were standing and it didn't move. There was a line outside the store.
Just like one of me.
We were crossing over. So I says to Bess, obviously crossing over. So this lady came. And I says to her, we're always trying to cross there because that thing didn't seem to be working, you know, the wee plan. So I says, we'll go, can you go? She says, right, I'm going now. So I just went, the next thing I was like, that's as quick as I get on, and that's it.
So you end up on the ground, you remember it when it happened, you're not
Aye,
at all?
I know. It was either the wheel, it was a hard thing hitting my...
Didn't bang your head?
No, I just went down. It just caught my leg. That one leg. It's okay.
Just report the gentleman take you up to the hospital to get checked out. Can I just get your
Yes.
name? Because I'll need to file a report now. What's your name, please?
Mary Dunleavy.
Is Dunleavy?
Donnie, what training is required and what makes a good firefighter?
Basically, training required, first and foremost, you must pass an entrance examination with quite a stringent medical involved, where they're looking at your general level of fitness just now and how you will be in 15 to 20 years' time. That, having come through that, you would then be sent through to the Scottish Fire Service Training School, which is at Gullen, which is on the east coast just past Edinburgh. And there you would carry out training for approximately 4 months, everything to do from ladder climbing to wearing breathing apparatus to operating the pumps. And if at the end of this intensive training you pass all your examinations, you would then be sent to a station as a probationer firefighter, which continues for a period of 2 years continuous assessment. To be a firefighter, first and foremost, you need certain attributes of staying power, shall we say. We don't want people who are going to quit when the going gets tough. We require people who will stick in and get on with the job, who are reasonably intelligent and can pick up on situations, develop these situations and deal with any situation that they're asked to do.
Donnie, what is an average weekly call out for one watch?
Well, that would actually depend. There's times within the shift where you could have quiet days, such as today, or there's other days when you run off your feet and you move from one fire call to another. In between, a balance could be, and depending which station, if you worked in a very busy station such as Paisley, you would find they would average 45, possibly more in an average day, turnouts per watch, per shift. In a quieter station, that could be down to 2 or 3. But as I say, if it became one of the hectic days, you could find that you're moving from one fire call to another without much rest or respite in between.
And following on from that, are the bulk of your call-outs to domestic fires?
Yes, I would say 7 out of 10 calls are to domestic fires. Usually we have calls to factories, hotels, and can be mainly traced back to fire alarms, which greatly protect these premises, but unfortunately sometimes can give a false reading and turn us out. And it's as a preventative measure, obviously, and we always attend these turnouts.
Johnny, what's the most common cause of fires?
The one we probably find as most common cause can be traced back to the chip pan. Unfortunately, in this day and age where we have deep fat fryers and safety devices on them, most folks still tend to go with a chip pan. Other than that, electrical fires in the home, or possibly drop lights where people have fell asleep and the cigarette end has fell in the bed or in a couch or the seat of a 3-piece suite. These tend to be the most common, that and electrical fires.
And what do you find the brigade's view on fireworks is?
Well, basically the brigade view is, if you are going to have fireworks, have a display which is well organised, well controlled, with all safety aspects being adhered to, that one person organises the fireworks and takes them out boxes and sets them off in a controlled atmosphere where nobody, children, adults, can get access and possibly get hurt by the fireworks. Changing it slightly, my personal view is, if I could, I would do away with having such things, but that's merely a personal view.
Do you give any special attention to blind, partially sighted, housebound people, i.e. visiting them in their own homes or giving advice at groups?
Well,
these type of people?
Of course, we have certain events in the calendar throughout the year, Fire Prevention Week, where we take particular time to go around shelter complexes, any complex that we know that has disabled people or anything of that nature, and give them advice on fire prevention, what to expect when the fire brigade arrive and how to deal with things in the event of a fire. We also, in our day-to-day contact with the public, through going out and doing inspections within premises, we take time then to speak to the people and let them know how we would deal with the situation if we were called into their particular premises and how we would hope they would react to us.
And how big a problem are hoax calls for you?
It is indeed quite a big problem. We find that we can be turned out to one end of the town on a malicious call, as we term it, and that due to that factor, our predetermined attendance that the ADO spoke about a couple of minutes ago, we would find it very hard to meet, because these are calculated from turning out from central points within our area. And if we are at the Port Glasgow side of our area and get turned down to Weems Bay for a turnout, you can imagine the extra time that is added on, and lives could in fact be lost in the time it takes us to get there, as opposed to being turned out from the station. So this can happen, and has done in the past, where to my knowledge, not in this area, people have lost lives and what have you, but I know throughout the country it is a problem with malicious calls. People should understand that if they tie the fire brigade up with a malicious call, that they or their relatives or family could indeed lose their life because we were unable to attend at a legitimate fire.
Johnny, what recreational facilities are on offer to your crews?
Well, different stations have different type of facilities. The newer stations being built in Strathclyde have been equipped with multi-gyms and various other different pieces of apparatus. But ourselves in the older station, we do have a recreation room that we have converted into a gym of sorts, where various working routines by individuals have been achieved. Also, we have a section where, in particular, my watch has received permission from the divisional commander to carry out a training programme within our work routines, and we do have a workout on most days on the shift, which helps to keep us in trim. Plus, of course, as you might understand, the handling of the ladders, the pumps and the equipment is quite a physical task, and indeed that in itself helps to keep the men fairly physically fit. Plus, a lot of the younger members of the crews play sport by themselves, football, squash, whatever.
The job is very obviously a stressful one. How do you allow the men to unwind?
Basically, this can depend on the individual. Some folk prefer to come back from fire situations and be by themselves. Other folks prefer to be in the crowd, where we sit down, have a cup of tea, discuss the fire, what went on, what we all did, and basically it's my job then to sit and listen and see how the men are reacting, and if I can either give them a pat in the back or say they did well at the fire situation, talk through the problems and alleviate any stresses or feelings of anxiety that they have. If that isn't enough, we have channels that I can go through via the assistant divisional officer, and he can put me in touch with personnel who may counsel the firefighters if that's required. But basically, usually we do it in-house and get it out of our system after we come back from the fire. Sometimes we have what we call a debrief, where we would go to the lecture room and discuss the fire situation and how we coped with it.
Are your appliances made specially for you, or are they adapted?
Well, we have various contracts throughout the brigade with different manufacturers. At present, we run a lot of Scania appliances, and we have Volvo, Bedford, different appliances throughout the brigade. At times the policy can change whether we go down one road with a fleet of appliances or whether we diversify and have different styles of appliances. Basically, we get them coming in as a chassis, and they are then adapted and built up for fire brigade use. Everything is built onto that chassis as Strathclyde requires at the time.
And finally, David, What message would you like to give to the public at large regarding fire prevention?
It's more, rather than fire prevention, it's more a general fire safety issue. Is that take general fire precautions in the home in particular, obtain a domestic smoke alarm, but bear in mind that the fire brigade is the fire brigade of the public. It's their fire brigade, and don't be frightened, don't be at all put off by going to fire stations, phoning up the fire brigade, asking for any advice, education or assistance, because the fire brigade is Strathclyde's fire brigade. It's there to serve the people of Strathclyde as such.
David, Donny, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, Strathclyde Fire Brigade is a massive brigade. Everyone crews the machines and works in the station usually all live in the local community, so we're very aware of our contribution and the fact that we are part of the local community. So the guys in the station had found an old electric wheelchair, and basically what they did was they cut the chassis, they extended it, and they made up all the new upholstery, etc. And this is the resultant product, which has been donated to Lilybank School.
Thanks lads, get that washed down just now, give it a good wash. Okay, and then I'll do it for lunchtime. Good.